So for this presentation, I'd like to present Sakay, Ottawa. I'd like to introduce it to you. He is, above everything, a father of 4 children. He's a native of Manoan, Atikomek community, and lives with his family. He's a graduate from the University of Quebec in Chicoutimi in preschool education and elementary school teaching. He's worked as a teacher for 10 years. Today, he's the principal of the Ottawa school in Manoan. So I ask Sakay Ottawa to come and make his presentation, please. So hello again. It's a pleasure for me really to be with you here today. To thank the FNEC's team for having invited me. A pleasure to present to you my experience as a father. So I'll try to get as much as possible into it. And this is the first time that I'm going to be presenting it. They had to take only 15 minutes on that, so I'll try and give you as much information as possible as I can. These are the themes that we will be talking about. Why is your commitment important in your role as a parent? Your interest regarding the education of your student, your child, is essential to his success. Research really has demonstrated the child has 40% of a greater chance of succeeding if his parents become involved in his schooling. As a parent, it's important to have a positive attitude with our children. We have to be patient, to accompany them. We have to really show them how important homework is and in their studies that they have to, what our children have to do. And, it's important to encourage them and to have a constructive attitude. Sometimes they get discouraged, and, it's up to us to guide them. To make sure that they be more positive in their responsibilities in school. It's also important to get clear time with your children. That's to say, when you get from school, you have to do your homework, because after that, you'll be able to go out and do what you want to do. So it's important to have that kind of expectations, to have clear expectations with your children. You're being present every day. We, as much as possible, I don't want to say we do it every day, but as much as possible at supper time. This is when the family gets together and we ask questions to the kids. How was it today? What did you learn? And it becomes a bit of a ritual, a routine that we set up also in the family. And that's important to do. Responsibility for homework is that's the child's responsibility, most important responsibility. The parent tells them his expectations. The student comes home, and we will accompany him on that. When he comes back from school, we have to establish rules and ways of working. Important thing also is to make the child accountable or responsible for his homework in order that he develop autonomy and develop good working habits. Often homework allows the students to consolidate or to continue the work that he's doing in school. Often when we accompany our child and he asks us questions, we can sometimes see that he's having a problem somewhere. And so that is how we know that, hey, on this particular point, he has to work a little harder on it. And on the contrary, and the opposite, when you see that your child seems to have a little somewhat facility, somewhat ease with a particular subject, that's when you should be encouraged. Hey, you do good with that. This you tell him he's succeeding well in that, and it encourages the child. Yeah, I said, you can see the progress of the learning, and the teacher can also see that the child has done his homework. Can see the progress or the problems that the student is having or has had. It's important to communicate well. That's a shared responsibility between the child, the parent, and the teacher. You have to communicate well amongst each other. That's basically what I said in homework, and is a shared responsibility between yourself, the teacher, and you as a parent. When it comes to the length, the duration of the homework, it will depend on the age of the child. Work that should be done or homework that is being done, and the requirements of the school. Usually feel that it should not go more than 30 minutes a day in the beginning of elementary, and 60 minutes at the end of elementary school. These are averages. In the first years of elementary school, your son or daughter would need that you be with him to help him with his homework. What we noticed right from the beginning of elementary school, we made sure that our child had a place to do his homework without being disturbed. We turned the TV off and so on. It's a routine that we set up. And the older the child gets, working with this, we don't always have to be sitting beside him and saying, "Do your homework," and it becomes like automatic. It's with the self-regulation, basically, it's called. And our daughter also, who's in high school now for the last 2 years, who's in second year high school, she's very autonomous with that. We just sometimes make sure that she's doing what she should be doing, because sometimes they'll be on her iPad or on her phone or whatever. So it's important to also have regular rules when it comes to that. Rules as to when she can and can't use these type of things.
How can we help and support the child is to teach them good working habits, to establish a routine to help him prepare his school material, to encourage him to review the notes from school. Sometimes our daughter, or even boys, ask me, "Dad, ask me something, I have a dictation." So we work on that. Woman was talking about before me, spending specific periods of time with our child. Well, we do that as well. It's very useful to spend quality time studying with our children. Also, to help the child plan his work and his studies, prepare for an exam, make sure that he uses his agenda efficiently. Every school has a school calendar, like an agenda, and it's a good tool of communication. That's how youth has to transcribe what they have to do. So, as a parent, we have to sign sometimes the weekly schedule. That's how the child can see that we're interested in his school learning. Also with the marks sometimes. Find with your child, find a place where the child can work without being disturbed. If the child wants to do his homework at the kitchen table, make sure that his siblings won't be interfering. Make sure that there is enough light. Make sure that the television is off. And make sure that the computer is not connected to social networks. Make sure that he has access to whatever he needs, calculator, dictionary, and so on. Books, computer, whatever he needs, internet. It helps a lot with this kind of equipment for research. Make sure the child has paper, pens, French, English dictionaries, and so on. Some people don't have access to internet, so you have to make alternative plans to have access to internet. Help, help the child combine healthy ways to learn. For example, suggest that he transcribes his notes, that he does summaries of lessons, that he uses multicolor pens to emphasize, to highlight some information, make up a song that will help the child retain some information. Let the child plan his work. Ask the child if he looked at his agenda and the work he has to do. Ask if he set priorities when the work is due. Make sure he has everything he needs. Also, to get some help, use the library, the virtual library. Keep listening. Suggest to take a few breaks so that he can work better once rested. Give him the responsibility of his work and evaluate the day with him. Encourage your child with gestures and words. It's very important to have healthy, good communication with your child. Just to mention reading. Reading is very important from the beginning, from elementary school, to encourage them to buy books. That's what we did. We went to the bookstore and we told the child, to ask the child to choose a book, and we bought it for them, and we still do that today. It's very important because the more the student reads, the better his chance of success in all subjects. It's also important as a parent to get information from the school. There are parent-teachers meeting in school, and as a parent, you can go to these meetings, find out about how homework works and the various activities that are organized in the school. It's always important to keep yourself up to date with what's happening in your child's school. When you notice difficulties with your child, it's important to work as a team with the teachers. I encourage the parents to communicate with the child's primary teacher in order to come up with a strategy that you can implement together to help your child. The more you make sense of the teaching, the more you increase your child's motivation. You show your child that it's important not to give up, that you have to continue in spite of difficulties. And the better the chances that your child will succeed. I wrote down, let's encourage and support our children. That's language. Thank you. It was a quick presentation, but I knew that time was of the essence.